All right. It is time to go to work here. All right. It is time to go to work. All right. I'm recording. You just got to push record. That's what they keep saying on Think Media. Shout out to Think Media for giving me direction to set this up. Again, I tip my hat off to any content creators because it looks like all it is a microphone and a camera. Boy, there's so much that goes into the camera, set up the microphone into the computer right. Then those two have to be merged inside of some editing software. Boy, I did not know this much went to it. I'm gonna have to do a separate video because I didn't find anything really straightforward how to hook this up. So it's probably a video I didn't even intend to do on this platform, but I'll do it just to help somebody else just get going because there's a few things you got to connect and do know. But here, I want to welcome everybody back to Model 6 Plus. And again, I want to give you a quick overview of Model 6 Plus, which is real simple. A mother and a father, that's two people. Then your mother and father has a mother and father. That's four other people, which is combined six human beings put in place, that nature put in place. It's not something Dennis Bond made up. That was to be the support base that nature intended. But for whatever reason, we segued away from that. And it's been a problem ever since. It ain't going to get no better. Right? All of what we see in the news, all the problems people are having emotionally, mentally, and even physically, all stems from a lack of support. And somehow we have got to segue our way back to that support base. And again, the plus is simply those relatives, those aunts and uncles, nephews, nieces. We should be family. All those cousins. We should be a family unit that support one another. And for whatever reason, you know, going down the street, you see that homeless person. Where's all those people I just named in the equation of that? Oh, Dennis, you can't say that because they told them. And they chose the path of what they were doing. And that's where they wound up. We got to put a little bit more effort than that. All right. Out of the parents, the grandparents, nephews, nieces, uncles, cousins, whatever. If each family unit made it their business per each homeless person, just make it their They don't have to worry about anything else in the world. Just make that human being their business. Collectively, we can abolish homelessness. But for whatever reason, that ain't my problem. We told them we gotta put more effort into taking care of one another. Hopefully before it even gets to that, which goes to a lot of coaching, nurturing, tutelage before hard decisions are made. I told this story briefly in another episode I was going to publish, but I never got a chance to do it. How this whole thing of Model 6 hit me over the head like a ton of bricks. I don't know why it hit me so hard this year, and I've seen plenty drafts before. But I happened to be watching the NFL draft. And I don't know why it stood out so strong to me, but it stood out like a ton of bricks. When those kids' names are called to be going to a team, this is with NBA as well, or any other sport where somebody makes it big. When they call that person's name, mom and dad, aunties, uncles, whoever's there, we won. We did. Everybody won. Now, everybody now versus that homeless person, I ain't had nothing to do with it. We told them, well, wait a minute, here's this human being here that made it big time. Now, everybody had a hand in that. Now, all of a sudden, we want to claim responsibility. We don't want to claim responsibility for that human being that didn't make the draft. They just were a regular citizen and, you know, made some bad choices and had a tough life. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But no sooner one of us make the draft, we're all in. See, mom and dad or the cousins, I taught him everything he know. What? Now we're all in. We can't do that, y'all. We can't pick and choose. We have got to be all in, period, with family. Which leads me to something huge I want to talk about that's really bugging me with a lot of content that I'm looking at. Lots and lots of even younger people in our Black community have come to the point of, all women ain't no good. All men ain't no good. Okay, so there's tons and tons of this information out there on all these platforms, pitting Black man against the Black woman. Okay, where is this leading? Where are we going with this? We're not going to a good place. So we're going to talk about this right here because this is something that's got to be talked about. And some of my favorite content creators are kind of following this one up. And I'm really disappointed because, you know, if you handle things from a just earthly stance point of view, all that information could be right, but we're not supposed to be doing that. Nature created the way things should go and flow, and we got to get back to that, which is what Model 6+ is all about. We should be supporting one another. Now, if we follow what nature gave us, this blueprint of Model 6, with the 2 parents and the 4 human beings, which are grandparents, if we are tutoring, coaching, nurturing, giving those kids that are born all the mental faculties that they need, they wouldn't be growing up to hurt one another like that. We've moved away from virtue. Moral excellence, that's virtue. What happened? We're trying to do it our way, just mankind's way. It ain't working. Until we get back to some level of virtue, it's not going to work. It can't work because that's not what nature never designed for us to just hurt one another. That's not love. We got to get back to love. And there's so many platforms talking about love ain't got nothing to do with it. Well, let's talk about love for a second. Because I saw on one of the shows, they asked a really good, relevant question. Have you ever been in love? I didn't even stop thinking about that one myself. And I came to the conclusion, no, I've never been in love. And this is going to hurt people. This is going to hurt. Most of us have never, ever been in love. Now, I'm just learning this YouTube thing, and bear with me. I'm going to flash this cross screen once I learn this editing. But I happened to be in the waiting room waiting to see the doctor, and this just happened to be sitting on the table. And I'm just going to just make mention of this. Oh, I hate when it does that. That's Christopher Reeves and Dana Reeves. And for you kids, you don't know who that is. That was a gentleman who was a huge Hollywood star. Huge. He played one of the best Supermans ever done. Now, I'm just bringing him up. You know, I know there's going to be a lot of people out there. Why he bringing them up? They're just quick people that are famous that magnifies a huge point where the situation was so bad, people got tested to the nines when it came to the word love. Now, when the tough gets going, I'm talking about real tough gets going, love doesn't run out. Dana Reeves was in a situation where her husband had messed up his spinal cord, messed his neck up, C2. Messed his neck up. He fell off a horse. And when he fell off the horse, it really busted his neck up really bad. So much so, he could hardly breathe. Which went into other paralysis along the way, which is what that was talking about. Paralysis. He couldn't function from the neck down. Okay, so now you're the wife, or let's say you're the husband. You're in that situation. Does love say, well, too bad, I'm out of here, I ain't doing all that? The state of where we're at right now, a lot of people would just run. A lot of people just run. I'm out. I ain't doing all that. Sorry. That's not what real true love does. So when you look at, and even myself, have I ever been in true love where both parties felt the same way, that level of, that much depth? If I got messed up physically that bad, are they going to stick around? The answer for most of us on this planet is a no. And with all the talk that's happening amongst black men and women right now, we are in trouble. Because if something happens to one of us, we're not going to be there for one another. Where are we going with this? It can't be, I keep hearing this, a marriage is a business. It can't be all business. There's got to be some love in there. Because when you run into a situation like that, what you going to do now? What business partner's out, so I'm out? Well, that's not love. You're just a business person at that point. And now I guess some people go into it that way. That's pretty sad. That's pretty sad. It should be support, which is what this channel is about. That's why I even brought this channel up, Model 6 Plus, to emphasize family supporting one another. You marry somebody, they're family now. Now you support them, good or bad. Okay? Most of us do a pretty good job if our mom or dad gets into a situation, let's say, coming down with Alzheimer's or dementia. We do pretty good then. But that's supposed to follow through also in committed relationships. Okay? I have so much to say on this. I don't want to be long and boring, but I just have to touch base on this because I'm seeing so many YouTube channels. And I watch a lot of YouTube. I've stopped watching TV. I watch so much YouTube, learning this, learning that. You click on this, this goes to that. But on so many black platforms, there's this huge conversation about the black man ain't nothing, the black woman, the BW. We keep calling the it's just a beautiful black woman. Okay, we got to work with one another. We can't just keep on beating up on each other, just kicking each other. I mean, where are we going? What's the point? What end does this bring us to? We keep preaching that. Are we going to somehow work to make that better? Because we got to figure out how to make it better. Because, okay, look. There are certain white supremacists. There was a shooting one individual did because that was what was on his mind. Now, think about this for a second. If there are white supremacists out there that their whole notion is they're afraid that they're going to become the minority. If they can get black men to be against black women and vice versa, what does that mean? That means we're fulfilling white supremacy. Because we're no longer producing. Because they have pitted us one against another. They won. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? Not support one another and reproduce? Take care of our children? What are we going to do? Just do nothing and just let them win. They want us to be divided. They want us to not reproduce. They want us to not be conducive together. That's their whole concern. And there's so many groups. I forget the name of the individual that, that Tops grocery store shooting with the individual went in there and just shot just African Americans. He said that was one of his #1 concerns, is that Caucasians were becoming the minority. They're not the minority, but if we keep going down this path, black man against black woman, we're already in trouble. How much more trouble are we going to lead to if we don't support one another? That's what this channel is about, to talk and work our way back to supporting one another, because we got to get back. I mean, I said this in my very first video, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it all the time. If it ain't about us older folks, I'm going to say 30 and over. If you even 29 and younger, you still got a future. It's all about the kids. I mentioned this in the last video. I've been very fortunate in the last 7 years. Actually, I did more than that on the books, but I volunteered for the last 7 years of my life working with kids. I get to do this at a local roller skating rink. And I'm able to touch my community because everybody walks through those doors if they're just there for a birthday party, or, you know, I'm here for my niece, my little nephew, cousin, whatever. Everybody seems to walk through that door at some point or another. And I feel blessed to do that because, again, at the end of the day, it's about the kids, giving the kids a shot at a life, a future of some sort that's conducive. We have got to provide a better way, because if we're not doing that as adults, what are we doing? It's about setting it up for the kids. Pretty much we've lived our lives, right? But it's the kids' turn. And that's what I enjoy doing every weekend of my life is, I mentioned this last one, I play the games with the kids. Red light, green light. We're going to do the limbo. We're going to do the four-corner game, whatever. They're just kids. It's brand new to them. This world is brand new. So all the content that they're looking at, we have got to be more responsible with what we say and why we're saying it. We got to be so responsible. You know, I showed my mom my first podcast, YouTube, and she was proud. We're supposed to make our parents proud. They're supposed to know what we're doing. Real famous YouTuber passed away, Kevin Samuels. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. That brother had some really good, strong points on things to say. He had a bunch of them. But my biggest takeaway was he had so much good to say, but kind of punched in the mouth with it. I got to make sure when I'm saying this stuff that I'm not punching people in the mouth, but just giving you the truth. I got to give you the truth. I can't sugarcoat this, but so much. Okay, because we're in trouble and we got to get going here. Okay, so my biggest takeaway with Kevin was I got to try to disseminate that good information in a more loving way where people digest it instead of being repulsed. the news report said his mom didn't know he was famous. What? This dude had become one of the most prevalent brothers in our community, in the manosphere. Became a millionaire and he didn't know, you didn't buy your mom a house? What? What's going on with that? I ain't trying to get in this business. I don't know what their relationship was with him and his kids, whatever. I was god-awfully gutted and disappointed with the funeral. They put away homeless people better than that. My mom has to be able to see this and be able to say, okay, put some good information out there. The kids that are, you know, that are with me every weekend, I got to help tutor and mentor them to have a good head on their shoulders. They got to be able to look at this and be able to walk away with some good information and not walk away negative. They got to walk away with an idea. How can we be better? If we're just putting up a bunch of YouTubes just for, you know, subscribers, likes, I mean, that's great. I hear you can get paid off this stuff. I don't know. And that is not my goal in and of itself. If it all pans out well like that, that's one other deal. But for the record, I'm on here for the record that, let's say, when our kids, my mom likes saying that, are studying history, and they look back, and it's really cool that we're in a technological age where this could be recorded, as opposed to when Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, and those guys were alive. They said a lot of good things too, but everything didn't get recorded because you didn't have a scribe there. Some of it got lost, whatever. They can look back at technology because all this information's in the cloud, whatever, and be able to say, okay, there were a few people down there, they wasn't crazy. So they put good information out there instead of black man hate the black woman hate the black man. That's crazy. That's crazy. How many other ethnic groups do that to each other? I don't see it. Not like this. We got famous YouTubers beating up each other. And it just leave everybody that way. Where are we going? What are we going to do? We got to do something else. If you don't get anything else out of this, it's setting up the kids. At the end of the day, it's for the kids. We done lived our lives. We're older, whatever. Again, if you're 20-something at all, even 29, you still got a shot. And that's not to say if you're 30 on that you don't. But God's going to expect more out of you past 30, because at that point, he's saying you should have looked to me. Don't look at this YouTuber. Don't look at this influencer and get all your information. You got to go to the Most High on your own. All right? You got to have a personal relationship, because if you just listen to all these negative people saying all these negative things, you're going to be negative. All right? The whole goal is to become a better person. Whatever it takes to do that, you got to do it. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It's a huge waiting game. It is. And it's different for all of us. Some people will accomplish things, whether it be financial or love life or whatever it is. Some people, it's going to happen for them real soon. Happen real soon. Some people, it's midlife. Some people, it don't happen until way later. Everybody's that we're like snowflakes. God's doing each and every last one of us different. There's 8 billion of us on this planet, but ain't nobody like you. Nobody that's ever been created, that's ever lived before, none of them are like you. Not one. Okay? Know that you're special, and just keep striving to do better. I'm done.